All right, Grace, thank you for that update. Well, the city of Madison is facing a big budget shortfall for 2025, so they started preparing tonight.
Grace Alch was at that meeting, and she has you covered on the options the city has to make up this gap. Grace?
Amber, Brandon, the city of Madison has been working with a budget deficit for over a decade now. But as COVID funds are dwindling down, the city of Madison is looking at a budget deficit of about $27 million. Now, to put that number in perspective for you, that's the entire budget for the city's streets division. Now, the city has to find a way to increase revenue, cut spending, or a mix of both. The city's finance department says Madison would need to cut more than 270 jobs to make up the $27 million gap. Alder for District 5, Regina Vitiver, is on the city's finance committee and says the city has gotten to this point for a mix of reasons. One, the city has been working with a deficit for over a decade, which was only exacerbated by the pandemic. But Vitiver says the city wasn't given the proper tools from the state legislature to fund all of our services.
There are great creative solutions out there. We want to hear them. I think we really do have to consider what our options are, which are relatively limited. We can cut services. We can go to referendum to raise more money. And we can also do some other creative things with some of our special charges.
Vitiver says she and other alders are starting this conversation now rather than late summer or early fall when budget conversations typically start, and hopes to be as transparent as possible. Many alders have said they'll likely take a combination approach of cutting spending and raising revenue. Vitiver says in about 3 weeks, alders are going to start having more detailed conversations about what these cuts and increases will look like. So if they choose to cut some city services, what services those are, and if they choose to increase the price of some city services, what services those will be. Live in Madison, Grace Alch, 27 News.